educational system for her. So that's where we find out that Tampa and Orlando are the best place for vision impaired in Florida. And there's another place there up north. So when I decided to do it, I said, well, I have Paul Rodriguez here, Jayson, Patino here. Some of my kids, Jose, this black belt, Ben, and I decided to come over here. And when I opened up, when he's actually looking for a place to live, I said, I got to be close to one of my black belts. What I'm trying to say to you guys too is, for those that want to pursue something extra from here, who want to get BJJ really in their life, like I know there's some of the guys that have it, that's the school. This is one of the schools that I recommend, right here. Jayson's going to try to be here more often to be part of the program. That's the guy that I trust 100%. And the highest level. He's a world champion. He trained high-level UFC fighters. He did everything, and he's a very successful business owner, which is another thing too. He's one of these few guys in this industry that actually can go above and beyond on a business side, understanding what a business is, understanding what you have to do to be successful. If you don't have, whatever you do in your life, if you really actually you work for a company that actually sells on a product or sells service or ideas or whatever it is, that you need to have a minimum understanding of the business. So pick his brain when you have a chance, you know? You have to get a good understanding of marketing, sales, and education of your students or education of your staff, you know, and the retention of your clients. All this, he has complete awareness of that, all right? So let's line up before we do it. We're going to have this conversation right now. Alumni. So talk a little bit about your own career life.
All right. For me, this is kind of near and dear to my heart. Being here with this club and the class now, as Liborio started. I started UCF in 01, graduated in 05, and I came up here really just to go to school. My plan was to move back home, but I kind of made a new home when I came up here. The friends.
Where was home?
So Coral Springs, South Florida, is where I grew up, where I went to high school. But realistically, when I made new friends here, I actually started wrestling when they started that team again back up in 01. I was on the national championship team with UCF on 04 and 05. And then in 04, so about 15 years ago, I started in the jiu-jitsu club here. So somebody kind of said, hey, you know, have you seen any of this jiu-jitsu stuff? And I only seen the early UFCs, as a lot of people did. And I was immediately hooked, you know. And then what I loved about jiu-jitsu is just there's endless techniques. And beyond just the techniques and how to, you know, improve position and choke people, I found that it required a higher level of self-control and self-discipline. So you see a lot of this in students who train as they learn to control their emotions, right? Somebody's choking you, the answer is never to freak out and get emotional or angry or frustrated. You have to stay calm and cool and collected. People say it's problem solving under stress. In stressful situations is how people describe jiu-jitsu sometimes, or physical chess, right? So I love that because it kind of incorporated the analytical side, the cerebral side. How can I be using my brain, but also my body, and having them work together and controlling my emotions. So it was just like a complete martial art, I felt. And I fell in love with it. And so where I started competing and doing very well, I had at the time a manager. I was fighting professional MMA, and I found out that my manager could get me sponsored to go compete at the ADCC trials. That's the first time I went from doing local regional tournaments like Naga and some of the Copa, some of the local smaller tournaments. And I went out to New Jersey, competed in the ADCC trials, first big tournament as a purple belt, and ended up winning the tournament. And it was just crazy because at the time, then that qualified me for what they call the Olympics of grappling, Abu Dhabi ADCC.
I was going to ask you this. What is ADCC? Tell me what it is.
So Abu Dhabi Combat Club, like I said, it's the Olympics of no-gi grappling. It's the best grapplers in the world. There's only 5 weight classes and only 60 people from each weight class. And the only way to get in is if you win your continent's basically trials, which I did, or you get invited. So very elite level group. And then all of a sudden I went from just an unknown purple belt that was tough to world level, being recognized from people all over it. And it was just crazy for me. Like all of a sudden that put me kind of on the map per se. And so then I kind of realized, well, I was following this MMA path that I was just kind of doing because it was cool, I liked it, but it wasn't a passion per se like wrestling and jiu-jitsu was. And that same year I went and competed at the Purple Belt World Championships, and I won a bronze medal. I was like, well, okay, it kind of made me shift my thinking a little bit, and I decided, I'm gonna dive into jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna kind of stopped focusing on the MMA, and I wanted to just be the best grappler that I could be. At the time, actually Jose, the black belt that you mentioned earlier, he said something about a world champion. He says, I don't even know. He just said something, world champion, and it was before I did the ADCC trials, and I said, I like that. I like how that sounds. And I remember the moment. I remember I was sitting at the gym, and I said, I want to be a world champion. And it was just like that. I said, I want to be a world champion. And from that moment, I decided I needed to compete in every world championships I possibly could to give myself the best chance. And I did. I mean, I competed at the purple belt, and I medaled. As a brown belt, I went back to the world championships a few times. First time didn't go so well. Second time I went, I actually won the silver medal at the world championships as a brown belt. And then IBJJF, yeah. Started competing in the FILA World Championships. I brought home 2 bronze medals. So I kept getting kind of close and in the mix, you know, so I just kind of kept moving, and I used those losses as motivation. And then, you know, as a black belt, even.
I want to ask you about this because I know how deep you get the approach in the mental state of competition. Because I think they can learn a little bit from that. And it's the first time that we actually talk about this. How you prepare mentally for a competition, especially in a high level?
I mean, I have a complete program. So things that I just did over the years, and then working with a coach on the mental side, I've now created a full program on the mental part because people underestimate this. But you need to be training mental just as much physical and technical. And people they think that, oh, I come in and I train, I'm working hard, I'm pushing through when I'm tired, and it goes far beyond that. So I do visualization drills. I do affirmation statements.
Can you tell them a little bit about what it is?
So when I do a visualization drill,
everybody knows you. Somebody who doesn't know what is visualization?
Well, so a lot of times people might think, okay, I know what visualization is, but I get very deep. I do like a 15 to 20 minute session, almost like meditating, where I go into a quiet room, complete silence, do breathing techniques, and I visualize every detail that I can of like a day leading into competition. So waking up in the morning, what am I going to eat? How am I going to warm up? Getting my uniform on, stretching. Hearing the crowd and the referees and the noise in the building. I visualize the mat. I visualize my opponent, the referee. I visualize everything. I go through, and in an actual match, I'm visualizing different scenarios. In every visualization drill, I put myself in some form of adversity, and I see myself working through the adversity. So by the time I'm done with the visualization drill, I've seen myself succeed. I get my hand raised. I see myself at the top of the podium. By the time I actually go to compete, I feel in my mind like I've been there 100 times. And it helps control the negative emotions that can be triggered when we go in that stressful situation and the lights are on and the nerves and our family and our friends and our fans. And it can kind of help force you to not perform sometimes your full potential, right? And you see this a lot in high-level competition. So
let me ask you something, because some for you guys here, this is me where there is any way to stop negative thoughts? There's any way that you're going to say, no, I'm not going to think this way? Because people, in my own experience, negative thoughts will come for anything you do. Whatever you do, and at one point there will be a bubble of a negative thought about, I'm going to be successful doing yoga, I'm not being successful being an engineer, and I'm going to work in NASA or whatever it is. Those negative thoughts are hard to stop. And say, suddenly you're never going to think something negative about what the chances that you have it again. I don't think this is going to happen. But how you work through this and how you actually validate those thoughts makes a huge transformation in your emotions towards that goal. What I try to say is, the thoughts will come. Your insecurities will come. The highest level guy in the world, being a world champion, he could have that voice saying to him, I will be. That's the voice that says, I will be, I wanted to be. And there is always a voice there saying, maybe, am I correct when I say this? Because you've been there. You've been there. We've been there, and I've been there, done that. And at the same time, I coach people that you'd be surprised how they react on the stress level there at that moment. You think, no, this guy has no fear. This guy's fearless. I gotta say this, if you're not a genetic freak, 90% of the time you are fearless. And how you go through this?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big step. And then what I try to focus on is like when we set goals. So I get very detailed in goal setting. And part of it, the mental preparation and the goal setting work hand in hand, is preparing for potential obstacles. So if I can say, well, if I'm in that moment, I'm getting ready to compete, and I feel, overwhelmed or anxious, how can I deal with that? Or if I'm out there and I get, poked in the eye, like negative things that happen. What if I'm not going to perform my best? And you can't mentally get off track. You have to keep that mindset. So learning how to refocus, having a plan for how to deal with adversity, like those negative feelings that might make you maybe not want to perform to your best. And then essentially, once you learn how to cope with adversity, right, and have a plan for how to work through these negative feelings, these thoughts and emotions that might hinder your training or might hinder your performance, it's easier for you to not pretend like they don't exist. They're there, right? So the nerves, the butterflies, those feelings, you need to learn how to basically embrace those and use them to your advantage instead of trying to fight them, right? It's physics. You push on something, it's going to push back. If I accept it and I learn how to use that, then that nerve that turns into energy, and I can use it as positive energy. So that's something that just took years and years, because as much as I can say it or somebody reads a book, it's hard to implement it unless you've been there and you felt it. I mean, it's true, everybody gets nervous. I mean, at the highest level, you see these guys in the UFC and you think that, oh, like you said, they're fearless, but a lot of times there's a lot of doubt going on, and they're thinking about the other person, and it goes really deep.
It goes deep. But when you embrace it, like you say, it comes with maturity, but when you embrace these things and not try to fight it, sometimes you create that monster much bigger and uglier than it is. The monster will be there. It will be there. Whatever you do that, you want to apply for a job, you want to go talk to your parents about something, you want to go talk to your boyfriend about something, whatever it is there, that negative talk will be there. You got to embrace that and embrace the consequences on that, and you start to actually living that high esteem value that you have from yourself sometimes, that you feel like you can't break the mold, that you can't lose. Let's so go deep into this thing here right now, but use the word coping, which I think that is so important. When you have a system of coping and you have the desire to win, that's when you make the real champions, because they're willing to take the risk. They're willing to go there and put themselves and put their face there and dealing with all the problems that was coming around on being a leader, on being a champion. It's like the leadership that we're talking today in a few days. That's it. It's part of the game. Some of your leadership solutions, it will not please everybody. Probably 100% of them will not please everybody. And you have to take those decisions anyway. As much as sometimes it doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to be popular. That's what a leader is. It's not just popularity contest, right? If you want to please everybody, go sell ice cream. That's what they say. It's true. But if you want to be a leader, probably you're going to be the guy saying no. Oh, you can't even have a race. No, you can't. Right? That's part of the game. I'm just trying to step you guys into different things, and I know that this guy has so much knowledge of the process. You have to educate yourself, but there is a system to how to be mentally stronger with decisions that you can make and the risks that you can make. The tournaments, the competition for us was the big plus on that. And at one point there, you compete so much, and you mastered this so much that you were okay. You know that. Oh, it's okay. I know that I still can perform with that. But it takes a while, but there's a system that you can hurry up things. Right?
Definitely. And a big part of kind of what you were touching on there, we were talking about if you lose, right? A lot of people have this fear of loss. I don't want to lose in front of my friends, my family, my fans. And the angle that I use when I teach this to my students, including even kids, I mean, I'll teach them because loss is a part of life. You're going to lose. You're not going to win everything. That's not how life works. And if you get down on yourself, if you become a poor sport, as they say, it's a lot harder for you to succeed in the future. So the angle I use is a perspective. If I lose now, even though I was trying to win, I might have set this goal and I didn't achieve it, I lost. Essentially, with the right perspective, a loss now is an improvement for the future. You can learn more from a loss than you can from a win most times. So if I look at it like this is my ultimate goal, and on the way I lost, well, I know that I'm going to learn from that, and that's the only way that I can really grow, right? Because nobody just wins everything. It's very, very rare. And if you focus on the person who wins everything, like Floyd, anyway, there's one of him. Right now Khabib. Eventually, they either lose or they're the 0.00001%. Everybody else is losing at some point and either moving forward or falling back. So if I look at it like I'm going to improve after this loss, then I have motivation to keep moving forward. And if I had quit after I'd lost at the first World Championships or the second or whatever, I wouldn't have eventually made it to the point where I achieved that huge goal of mine. So it's the perspective, and when you kind of trade your expectations for appreciation, then that's just another perspective, right? Trade your
Oh, that's
expectations.
great.
Yeah, so you want to appreciate what you have. I'm healthy. I'm here. I'm alive. I have my support system. My family, my friends, my coaches aren't gonna turn me away if I lost. No, they're gonna be there to pick me back up. So you kind of take the pressure away.
That's what we call the inner circle. That's it. You have to have a good support system. Your inner circle is very special. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you risk yourself to do this, if you have the right inner circle, they will be there for you. You're losing it, you're winning. We used to say that, take a good look at who stays there after a loss. Who'll stay in the backstage with you after a loss. That happens a lot. And you know exactly what kind of inner circle you have in. Make sense? But if you have your friends, your family, there's true friends and family, it doesn't matter what you gamble your career in it, they will be there for you when you're down. Believe me, I know this a lot. A lot. You can have tons of people that you know. You should have a small circle of people that you can actually count on. I'll tell you this. I've come from an old man with a lot of experience with the sports and business. I'll tell you this. Right? Any good message that you have for this guy's here? That's how you combine jiu-jitsu and life.
Yeah, I mean, for me, jiu-jitsu is training for life. So what I found out, I wasn't looking for this plan, but what I found out is if I could be disciplined in jiu-jitsu training, which takes a lot of time. People know it takes average 10, 12, 15 years to get a black belt. Well, if you can be disciplined enough to be, somewhat successful in jiu-jitsu, well, you can take that same discipline, those same lessons that you're learning and apply it to life. So being disciplined and making a plan, setting goals properly, knowing how to work through short-term goals and obstacles, coping with adversity like we talked about, being mentally strong. Well, now if I want to get that better job and make more money, I better have a plan. I better set those goals and know that maybe I need to get experience here, do an internship here, and that'll get me closer to what I want. If you want to drive a nicer car, you want a bigger house, you want to lose some weight, right? Whatever your goal might be, jiu-jitsu and the training and the lessons you learn in jiu-jitsu can be applied to everyday life. And I think when we kind of focus on that, then you have a greater appreciation for the art. It's not just fun and we enjoy it. It has so many other lessons outside of the mat, beyond the mat, as I say. That's really what I love about jiu-jitsu.
Good question for him.
Oh, I got a million. Was there a point in your career athletically where you decided to actively pursue a better mental state, or was it just something that came up through years of training?
100%. When I was competing on a regular and going to these world championships, I was able to identify that there was times where there was still kind of doubt. Physically, I was in the best shape that I could have been. Technically, I had my game plan. I was ready to go. But I just felt that there potentially was I just wasn't as confident as I felt that I'd seen other people be. I see other people and they're like, man, they just look so confident, they look ready. And I said, I want to get to that point. This is still early in my competition career, and I started really focusing and doing all the visualization drills, the affirmation statements, goal setting, game planning, writing out my strengths, my weaknesses. And then by doing all of those drills, my confidence started getting higher and higher, and I was able to get my subconscious thoughts congruent with my conscious thoughts. And when you can do that, that's when you have the potential to perform to your full potential.
Are you still interested in competing, or have you accomplished everything you wanted to with that?
I entertain the idea. Right now, I'm dealing with back pain, back issues that have been going on for years and years. So whenever I entertain the idea, I kind of
and a 3-year-old, 4-year-old.
Yeah,
a 4-year-old boy.
Running to school.
You guys understand. We have kids. Understand what we're doing.
I haven't ruled it out yet, but between the business, my son, and my health, my body, I'm kind of more looking to the future for bigger and better things. But I haven't ruled it out yet.
What's your business? Is it just the American Top Team?
Yeah, the American Top Team East Orlando.
Can you tell a little bit to those guys where is it?
Yeah, so I'm on Alafaya, so just south of Alafaya, just a few miles down the road. It's the closest academy to campus here, so we have a lot of students that train with us. Obviously, people all ages and everything, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being our core. We have some no-gi classes, we have some MMA classes, and of course Muay Thai kickboxing as well. So again, that's my family. That's my everything right now. Is that gym is my extended family. So of course everybody's welcome. If you guys want to come check it out, but we are right down the street.
Got it? Jayson, thank you.